At number 5, it's Evo Morales' gay chicken. Bolivian President Evo Morales caused controversy in 2001 when he claimed that eating hormone-injected chicken was a root cause of homosexuality. At the World People's Summit on Climate Change and the Rights of Mother Earth in Cochabamba, he shocked the socially progressive audience with his views. "When we talk about chicken, it's pumped full of female hormones," he said, "and so when men eat this chicken, they stray from being men." He also linked the consumption of fowl with male baldness. Within a few hours, the impact of his comments had spread to the international media. Morales' government quickly went into spin doctor mode, insisting that the president had been referring only to genital abnormalities. In a public statement, the Foreign Relations Ministry explained, Morales made no mention of sexuality. Rather, he said that eating chicken that has hormones changes our own bodies. This point of view has been confirmed by scientists, and even the European Union has prohibited the use of some hormones in food. Many gay rights activists were unconvinced. The president of the Argentina homosexual community, Cesar Sigliotti, said, "It's an absurdity to think that eating hormone-containing chicken can change the sexual orientation of a person. By following that reasoning, if we put male hormones in a chicken and we make a homosexual eat it, he will transform into a heterosexual." In a different vein, Morales also took shots at Coca-Cola. "If the plumber comes to your house and can't get the job done with all his tools," said Morales, "have him pour Coca-Cola down the clogged toilet, and problem solved." This was received more favorably as many in Bolivia believe that the US soda company exploits Bolivia's coca supplies. Also, a local company had just launched a rival drink called Coca-Cola, with cola being a reference to the native Andean highland people. Morales has a long-standing antipathy toward unhealthy American food, complaining at the UN in 2013 that the fast food of the West is a great harm to humanity. He accused fast food companies of causing cancer and conspiring to suppress the rise of quinoa as a healthy alt. At number 4, it's Howard Hughes' food fetishes. Movie mogul, industrialist, and businessman Howard Hughes suffered from obsessive-compulsive disorder, which was reflected in his eating habits. He gave a number of bizarre food preparation and serving orders to his servants, including wrapping spoon handles in tissue paper. They were then sealed with cellophane and wrapped in a second piece of tissue paper. He would only touch the cupboard handles because he was obsessively afraid of germs. His servants had to open cans of food in a specific way, too. First, the servant would hold the can under warm running water, then he or she used a brush and special bars of soap to remove the label 5 centimeters, 2 in, from the top of the can. Next, the can was soaped to remove any dust and germs, then the bottom was cleaned in the same manner as the top. All the indentations of the can also had to be scrubbed with soap and rinsed. Throughout the process, the servant was not permitted to let go of the can. Hughes suffered constipation because he refused to eat leafy vegetables. His meals were very uniform, and he enjoyed a regimented menu that he changed every few months. He usually ate a medium rare butterfly steak with 12 peas of uniform size. If any of the peas were too large, Hughes would send them back to the kitchen to be replaced. He ate almost every meal alone. According to his chef, Hughes didn't even eat Thanksgiving or Christmas dinners with his wife, but Hughes liked fudge. When he became reclusive in his later years, he virtually subsisted on chocolate bars and milk. He isolated himself in a studio near his home, surrounded by empty milk bottles and containers which he used to relieve himself when nature called. This reclusive lifestyle took a toll on his health. When he finally died, people compared the state of his body to that of a. At number 3, it's Hitler's flatulent vegetarianism. Many meat lovers enjoy telling their vegetarian friends that Adolf Hitler was a vegetarian, and vegetarians often vehemently disagree. The truth is more nuanced. Until the early 1930s, Hitler showed a penchant for certain meat products, particularly liver dumplings and sausages. He is said to have subscribed to Wagner's theory that, the thirst for flesh and blood can never be slaked, and fills its victims with a raging madness, not with courage. Yet he did not completely turn against the consumption of meat until his niece and possible lover Jelly Roebuck committed suicide in 1931. After that, he refused to eat breakfast ham. "It is like eating a corpse," he said. Hitler also turned away from meat because he believed it caused chronic constipation and flatulence. He ate his vegetables raw or pulped into a mush. Some of his favorite foods were oatmeal with linseed oil, cauliflower, cottage cheese, boiled apples, artichoke heart, and asparagus tips in white sauce. The high-fiber diet had precisely the opposite effect on his bowel drama. After Hitler consumed a particularly large plate of vegetables, his physician, Evo Morales, recorded in his diary that Hitler experienced constipation and colossal flatulence on a scale I have seldom encountered before. Of course, this is not only the fault of his vegetarian diet but also the ridiculous regimen of drugs and treatments administered by his doctor, which included chamomile enemas and a heavy dose of supplements. Some of those supplements were vitamins, testosterone, liver extracts, laxatives, sedatives, glucose, opiates, and poisonous strychnine tablets for gas. The argument over Hitler's vegetarianism is a bit of a red herring. He did occasionally indulge in animal products, but so do 70% of vegetarians. Even so, Hitler's decision to become a vegetarian in no way refutes the moral arguments that Vegeta. At number 2, it's Mussolini's milk addiction. Benito Mussolini also had digestive problems and weird eating habits, such as refusing to eat anything at banquets. He believed that eating was an activity to which one should devote one's complete attention and that eating in the presence of others would make one apt to eat wrongly. In 1925, he vomited blood while at his house in Rome and was forced to take several weeks off from public appearances. Rumors circulated that Mussolini might have to be replaced as the National Fascist Party leader. Doctors diagnosed him with a stomach ulcer and recommended a drastic change in diet after he refused to have surgery. His new diet was mainly composed of fruit and up to 3 liters, 1 gallon, of milk every day. This apparently didn't help him because he suffered another ulcer in 1929. After the Allies invaded Italy and the fascists retreated to a German satellite state called the Salo Republic, Mussolini sought the assistance of a physician named Dr. Zaccheri. Shocked by his patient's appearance, the doctor said, "I found myself before a rodin of a man who was evidently on the brink of the tomb." Mussolini suffered from ulcers, anemia, constipation, insomnia, and low blood pressure. His skin was dry and inelastic, and his abdominal area around his liver was engorged. Zaccheri blamed Mussolini's ridiculous milk diet and cut his milk intake to 0.25 liters, 0.5 points, each day for a week. Then he went cold turkey. The doctor began to treat Mussolini with small doses of vitamins and hormones, which had an immediate positive effect. After his liver returned to its normal size, Mussolini remarked, "I must tell you, I feel liberated. I no longer feel pains in my stomach, and I don't fear the night." The doctor insisted that Mussolini ate some light vegetables like carrots and potatoes, which he had once been unable to stomach, and to take his tea without milk. Although Mussolini preferred vegetarianism, the doctor insisted that his patient eat small amounts of boiled chicken and fish to increase his protein intake, along with injections of vitamins B and C. The new diet caused his red blood cell count to rise and his health to improve, despite Mussolini occasionally refusing to take food while the Italian people were starving. Zaccheri later boasted that he had restored Mussolini. At number 1, it's Kim Jong-il's gastronomy. Due to the testimony of Kim Jong-il's former personal chef, Kenji Fujimoto, we know quite a bit about the eating habits of the former North Korean tyrant. While much of the country was starving, Kim indulged in expensive and elaborate food and drink. He had a wine cellar with over 10,000 bottles and a library with thousands of cookbooks. Kim was committed to getting the best food and often sent Fujimoto on foreign excursions to pick up delicacies: Iran and Uzbekistan for caviar, France for cognac, Denmark for pork, Western China for grapes, Thailand for papayas and mangoes, and Beijing for McDonald's fast food. Former North Korean diplomats also sent back exotic delicacies, such as camel's feet, from the countries in which they were stationed. Kim established an institute of top doctors and scientists to design a diet to increase his longevity. This was a source of concern, as the 158-centimeter, 5 feet 2, dictator's former eating habits had brought him to a weight of almost 90 kilograms, 200 lb. The doctors began to inspect every grain of his rice by hand to make sure it was perfectly shaped with no cracks or chips. Kim insisted that the rice be cooked over a wood fire using trees cut from Mount Pitu, a legendary mountain on the border with China. Fujimoto also revealed the dictator's love of sushi. When Fujimoto sought to leave North Korea, after being banned from travel abroad, he did so with a cunning ruse. He showed the dear leader a new episode of the cooking show Iron Chef, in which the secret ingredient was sea urchin roe, or uni. He casually mentioned that the best place to acquire the ingredient was from Rishui Island off the coast of Hokkaido. Kim couldn't resist sending the chef, who eluded his handlers at a fish market in Tokyo and disappeared into the crowd. Fujimoto didn't return to North Korea until after Kim Jong-il's death. David Thompson only eats shoe leather and chives. Email him at tormentedsentences@oath.com.